Let's go down to South America. In Peru, there are more than 300 pyramids. 9 years ago, I first went to the site called Cavachi in southern Peru. Italian archaeologists told me that they discovered 3 pyramids. 6 years ago, when I went again, now they are talking about 34 pyramids. We go to the northern Peru, the area of Tucumán, over 200 Tucumán pyramids. When you remove the desert sand, we can see on the photo, bottom left, behind the sand are the bricks, the walls. They were building their pyramids using adobe bricks. But as we can see on this pyramid, there are signs of vertical erosion, meaning the structure has been exposed to rain and storms for a very long time. Well, according to science, for the last 7,000 years, the climate in this area of the world has been the same, dry, sunny. So when did we have those rains? 8,000, 15,000, 20,000 years ago. And when those pyramids were built, remains a secret. Officially, Peruvian history is only 3,000 years old. So now we need to change the Peruvian history. In northeastern Peru, near the town of Trujillo, the largest pyramid in South America, called Pyramid of the Sun, or Huaca del Sol. Its surface equals 6 football fields. And this is only 1/3 of the original size. When Spaniards came in Peru in the 16th century, conquering, killing, stealing, their only aim was to find gold and to send it back to Spain. When they came to this pyramid, it was so huge and impressive. So what they did, they moved the nearby river Moche to the pyramid. And the river water washed 2/3 of the structure away. Bolivia, 4,000 meters above the sea level, near the lake of Titicaca, used to be Acapena Pyramid Complex. Today, there is not much left. But what we can see on the ground are those blocks. They are made from granite. Granite is the hardest material in the nature. On the Mohs scale from 1 to 10, granite is 5.5 to 6. Today, if we want to shape granite, we use diamond tools, because diamond is even stronger. Now, archaeologists are saying that until 2,000 years ago, the only tools that they had in this part of Bolivia was copper tools. Now, copper is very soft metal. On the same Mohs scale, copper is 3.5. It is inferior to granite. Obviously, they could not use soft copper tools to shape granite. The German Bolivian archaeologist and mathematician, Dr. Poznański, spent 50 years of his life investigating this complex. And his conclusion was that it was 15,000 years old. So who had diamond-shaped tools 50,000 years ago? When we look at the second granite block, we see how it is laser straight. Who had lasers then? When we look bottom To the right, obviously those blocks have been machined. Mexico, the most northern part of the pyramids, is called Tula. Officially, it was the capital for the civilization of Toltecs from the 8th to the 12th century. Now, on the top of the pyramid, one of the three which has been reconstructed, we can see those stone columns. The Toltecs called them Atlanteans. The Toltecs claimed that they came from the east, from the Red Land. To the east from Mexico is the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, the location where, until 12,000 years ago, there was a huge island or the small continent, 200 kilometers by 500 kilometers. And then, 12,500 years ago, it went down beneath the sea level for 3,500 meters. Some people called it the mystical land of Atlantis. Toltecs are saying red land. Red obviously points to volcanic land. And really, Atlantis was volcanic land. Those 8 stone columns show the faces of people of different races from different continents, black and white and brown and yellow and red. How did Toltecs know in the 8th century about different races on different continents when they teach us that only when white Europeans started sailing at the end of the 16th century to the west, the communication between continents started? Well, they teach us wrong. The communication was there much before those Europeans. Not thousands, but tens of thousands of years ago. One of the most famous Mayan pyramids, the Pyramid of Kukulkan in Chichen Itza. On 4 sides of the pyramid, we can see the stairways. 91 stairs in one stairway. 91 times 4 sides, 364. When we added the platform on the top, we are getting number of 365, which matches the number of days in our solar calendar. A very similar pyramid, but 10,000 kilometers to the east. In northeastern Cambodia, 60 miles to the east from the famous Angkor Wat, is the Cahokia pyramid. We do not know the builders or the purpose. Let's stay in the Cambodia to the left. On the bottom, we can see a beautiful pyramidal temple. And now let's go back to Guatemala, to Central America. Identical pyramidal temple. They are telling us there was no communication between continents thousands of years back, and here we can see the same construction company. The pyramids in China, they have been secret for the outside world for the longest time, until 1967. We need to get you a bigger pyramid to resolve that coughing. 1967, the Chinese archaeologist went to the conference in Japan, and he said that there were 250 pyramids in the central province of Shanxi. And he said that the oldest ones were built over 12,000 years ago, based on some writings that he partially deciphered. He went back to China, and they put him into the mental hospital. And nobody ever heard about him anymore. Why? The year is 1967, the first year of the famous Chinese Cultural Revolution. If you had opinion different than conventional science, then you wouldn't have a good time. After that, Chinese government started planting the trees on top of their pyramids, wanted to hide them from the outside world and show them as natural hills. But thanks to the satellite technology, we were able to locate all 250 pyramids in China near the city of Xi'an. Today you can even go and visit some of them. But the biggest pyramids are still untouched. The Chinese archaeologists confirmed me that they will not get permission to uncover them in another generation, 25 to 30 years. What is the problem with the Chinese government? Officially, the history of China is about 5,000 years old. Officially, the history of advanced Chinese societies is 2,300 years old. Everything started with the Emperor Qin, who united 7 Chinese provinces in blood, who built the Great Chinese Wall, who started the same currency for the whole country. And now, because of the pyramids, they need to change all of that and go back in the history for 10,000 years. The communist China is not ready for that. This is the look of the most famous Mexican pyramid. It is called the Pyramid of the Sun. It is located near the capital city of Mexico City, in the ancient city of Tiahuanaco. 160 years ago, this was the look of the pyramid, covered by soil, trees, looked like a natural hill. It took 75 years for Mexican and American archaeologists to completely uncover it. And this is how it looks like today. One of the most beautiful examples of the pyramid architecture. When you look the pyramid from the base, and people who are climbing the pyramid, they are becoming so tiny. Once they come to the top, you almost can see them. It seems that the builders wanted to reach the sky with this structure. Indeed, impressive 74 meters. Interestingly enough, it's exactly 2 times less than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. We learned that the length at the base in Egypt is 231 meters. The length of the sides in Mexico, 231 meters. In Egypt, we have number pi, 3.14, incorporated in the structure. In Mexico, square root of number pi. There are 3 big pyramids at the Giza Plateau in Egypt, Cheops, Khafre, and Myceren. There are 3 big pyramids in Teotihuacan, Sun, Moon, Quetzalcoatl. And their layout in Egypt and Mexico is the same. They are telling us there was no communication between continents, and here we can see the signature of the same architect. The pyramids on the United States soil, they don't teach us about them. We have over 200 pyramids in Cahokia National Park in the state of Illinois. They are covered by soil, and for the time being, they're going to stay covered by soil. American historians and archaeologists call them wrongly Cahokia mounds. Cahokia is the name for the minor Indian tribe which came to this region in the 17th century, and they had nothing to do with the pyramids. But they purposely named them Cahokia, so we think that they were built by Indians, not from India, but from America. And they call them mounds. Mound is when you get the soil, dirt, and make little mound. This is not a mound. This is a structure. 4 types of construction materials: sandstone blocks, pebbles, rocks, sand, and when they completed the structure, they covered them by squares of soil and grass which were turned upside down. In order to build the biggest one, the biggest pyramid, they needed equivalent of 122,000 trucks with construction material. For the whole complex, millions and millions of trucks, 20-ton trucks of material. They were not built by Indians. American Indians never built pyramids. European whites who came to America never built pyramids. It was built much before. So we need to change American history. I asked archaeologists on site, do they do any excavation? Their answer was no. They said, first, it's hard to get permission. Second, it's very expensive. Very expensive. Of course, archaeology is expensive, I know that. But America is the only superpower in the world. The problem is something else. They don't want to change the history. The pyramids on Italian soil, 5 complexes. The biggest one, Monte Vecchio pyramids, 3 pyramids covered by soil, and they're forming the same triangle like the one in Egypt or Mexico. The pyramids in Indonesia, Western Java, Gunung Padang, the Hill of Light. 100 meters high pyramid. This is its original look, 23,000 years old. When the Dutch salesmen came to Tahiti 400 years ago, this was the pyramid they discovered. After that, it's been destroyed. We go more to the east, Korean Peninsula. Tens of pyramids have been discovered, only 3 remained. Greece, 16 pyramid sites, built much before than the ancient Greek civilization. Israel, they have the pyramid also, 7 levels. 3 of them have been destroyed, much before the Jews and Christianity. Spain, 3 circular pyramids. The church built churches on the top so people cannot go there. They cannot enter the tunnels in those pyramids. So we see that the world of the past was the world of the pyramids. And of course, we have some modern pyramids. In Moscow, Russia, there is a pyramid which is 44 meters high, 10 meters higher than this one, where we are right now. It was built by Dr. Alexander Golod. He built 17 pyramids in Ukraine and Russia. There is a pyramid built in the 18th century in St. Petersburg. And this is the beginning of the construction process of the pyramids in Siberia, in the town called Tomsk. This is the biggest one. So far, they have 9 pyramids built. The plan to build a complex of 33 pyramids. And now here, we see the beginning of work of this pyramid, this magnificent structure where we are at right now. The year is 2004, basement work in progress. We can see the framework. The frame has been completed in 2005, and then the covering, and finally this is what we have today. In 1979, the wealthy businessman from Chicago started building his home, his residence, in the shape of the pyramid. He built a replica of Great Pyramid of Egypt, 9 times smaller, 6 levels. He was building it on clay property. Clay is, as we know, waterproof. By the time he was completing his pyramids and he was putting those gold plates on the top, at the time they were worth $1 million. He could see water coming from underneath. He was very surprised. He completed the pyramid. He got a big artificial lake around his pyramid. And this is when we realized that pyramid has the power. It sucks everything what is underneath. And then when we go back to ancient Egyptian times, River Nile was about 80 meters closer to the pyramids than today. They had a special system of canals getting the water inside the pyramid so it can work.